Hello again, DB here. This is November the 11th, 2011. It's Friday evening. And I just wanted to make a quick little video. Actually, it's probably going to end up being a series of videos. And it's going to be dealing with the topic of how the world has been deceived. And it's going to be from a religious perspective, which is basically what everything comes down to in the world anyway. You know, it's good versus evil, and it is now, it was then, it shall be in the future. But I want to start off with the first item of the deception concerning the practice of your worship. The day specifically that you worship on or set aside as your religious day of the week. Most most of the modern religions in the United States and other countries around the world follow Sunday as their religious day, that they go to church services and worship God on that day, praise the Lord on that day. And this is all documentable, verifiable, but it's my opinion, basically, you know. And please, at the end of this video I make today, feel free to comment, you know, disagree, agree, whatever, you know, because I know this is going to upset a lot of people that actually do their worship on Sunday, or their church service day on Sunday, or whatever it is you do, if anything. The actual day, and this comes down from Genesis, first book of the Bible, the Old Testament. God rested on the seventh day. He rested from his act of creation on that day, which is the Sabbath, as denoted in the Ten Commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. But the seventh day of the week is still listed as such on the calendar. Modern calendar today is the seventh day. It's Saturday. It's a Sabbath. Sunday is the first day of the week, even in modern calendars. You know, I understand that those of you that get into the idea or come up with the argument that, well, you know, you had the Greco-Roman calendar, you had this calendar, you had that calendar. You know, the day of the week is still the same day of the week. And the seventh day is still Saturday, the Sabbath. Now, that aside, the Sabbath was set aside by God for him to rest from all of his creation. It's set aside for God's people, and I'm not referring to the Jews or the Jewish race. I'm referring to God's people, the Sabbath keepers. Yes. Excuse me. And I'm going to tie this all in together in subsequent videos. This is just the very first one of the series. I don't know how many it'll be. Depends on how long-winded or short-winded I become during the taping, recording. But anyway, back to my point. The seventh day is Saturday. It's a Sabbath. It starts on Friday at sunset, and it ends on Saturday at sunset. And this can be proved by God's description of the first day. in Genesis, he said, in the beginning that the darkness was upon the face of the deep. Well, in the first day, God created light, and he called it day. But darkness was already here. It was on the face of the deep. So in God's own description, or Moses' account of God's description of the act of creation of the first day, the first day was the evening and the day and the light. So the first day began in dark, and it was completed after day. Ended at sunset again the next day. That's right in the first 2 or 3 verses. It's right in the front of Genesis. You can look it up. What's denoted as the first day. Evening till the next day. Dusk the next day. Sunset. Okay, now back to my point. The Ten Commandments was given, we know, to Moses on Mount Sinai after the Israelites, the Hebrews, were released from captivity from Egypt. At that point, the Ten Commandments were given as commandments from God to His people. Okay, now the seventh day, the Sabbath day, is one of the Ten Commandments. And a lot of people that go to church on Sundays and believe that that's the day they need to worship God, will give the argument that, well, I heard from a Baptist pastor, I asked him the specific question, what about Saturday and the Sabbath? Well, Sunday is the Lord's Day, he said. And I'm like, really? Okay. Okay. I didn't get into the argument that you cannot overturn a commandment from God simply by saying some Catholic or New Age pre-death of Jesus dogma in religion. It simply doesn't wash with me. Catholicism was the canonization by the Catholic Church of the religious writings of the apostles, which is also, well, another part of the deception you'll see later in the series of videos. But yeah, back to my point. That was how God you could identify and know who God's people are because they are Sabbath keepers. Because the Ten Commandments are still in effect. What other commandment could you say was ever overturned? I mean, if you Christian believers of Sunday worship say that Sunday is the Lord's Day, that's why you go to church on Sunday, the first day of the week, then it doesn't wash. It just doesn't wash because all the commandments are still in effect. You can't overturn or do away with the commandment. They're still there. Everybody readily points to the Ten Commandments when they talk about sin and not sinning, but it's conveniently left out when it comes to the Sabbath. And that's done on purpose because, like I said, of the canonization from the Catholic Church, from Constantine, the Roman Empire, and his mother Catherine. That's other topics later again. But yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. I know this is a little scatterbrained, but it's a difficult topic, and you'll see what I mean later. But the Ten Commandments, yes, they're all still in effect, even the Sabbath keepers. And they are not just Jewish people. They're not just the Jew. They include some of the Jewish people, but they're not just Jewish. It's Hebrew. It's Hebrew. Abram, renamed Abraham by God, was Hebrew. Now, that's another point. That'll come in a later video. But my main point today in this video was just simply to say, any objections from anybody about me saying that Saturday is the Sabbath as dictated from the Ten Commandments by God to Moses, to his people who are identified through their following of the Sabbath, and the Sabbath is set aside for his people to commune with God as a mark of identification that they are his people. So those of you that think Sunday is the day to worship God and praise the Lord and everything, I challenge you, anyone that watches this video or knows anyone that might think they know, show me in the Bible where it says Sunday is the Sabbath. Thank you. Have a great evening.